Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Crafty Hour number 51. Oh my goodness. Welcome, welcome. We've got some cute Christmas cards today to share with you. I'm just going to get loaded up here so I can see all of the comments. There we go. If you're tuning in, please hop on and say hello. We have 3 cards we're going to make together today. So hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for hopping on to Crafty Hour number 51. It's going to be a little interesting to do this one because as I was doing it, I realized that there is only one of each die cut. So I'm going to be pretending a lot, if that makes sense. I'm going to have to kind of tell you how to do it. But we sold all of our kits and I had an extra set of die cut packs to work with. But we ended up selling that because we wanted to make somebody happy. So that is totally cool. We are going to wing it with those. So good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for hopping on. I'm going to get started in just a minute. If you are just tuning in, hopefully you saw the homework. I did have you grab some card bases. I had you grab some red foil. So we're going to use that. This was optional. This was the silver circle ribbon. I also think the red would look fantastic. This is optional. You don't have to do this. Little funny story. I was kitting for our 3D class, and we're going to be using this in the 3D class. And I was kitting, so it was on my desk, and I started making these cards, and I just reached over and grabbed this and thought, I like the looks of it. And it just added a fun little touch. It is totally optional, so if you don't have it, do not stress. Now, I did also mention to you, oh, you guys are so sweet. I also mentioned to you to have some dies ready. Oh, goodness, did I not bring my rectangle die? Nope, I didn't because I am kidding with it. Okay, well, I'm going to show it how to do it without, but that's okay. So we have some circle dies I'm going to be using. The first one is the clipper ones that have the stitching. Now you can also use the regular tonics that don't have the stitching. This is the baby scallops. I'm going to be using these. And I'm also going to be using this one. Let me just pull this out. It is the Lacy Circles. It is one of the ones that I had brought back from the vault, if you guys remember that. So this is the other one I'm going to be using. It's called Lacy Circles. They discontinued it years and years and years ago. I want to say it was like 2012 or something like that. They discontinued it, maybe even longer ago. And I had them bring this back just for us. Lacy Circles, we do still have some in stock right now, and I am also going to be using that one. Thank you guys for hopping on. Good morning, everybody. Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoy our crafty hours. They are a lot of fun. So we're actually going to die cut that. What if you don't have a Lacy circle? Any circle will work, Dawn, any circle. So I'm going to be using it on here, but you can just use your regular scallop as well. That's totally fine. That's not a problem at all. We're also going to be using the scallop that is the square. Now, I'm cutting with that at home right now, so I didn't bring it. I'm going to just do it normal, and that's going to be a great way for me to show you the difference between using a die and not using a die, although it's going to be a little interesting for me as well. I'm just making sure I didn't package it, but I don't think I did. Nope. It is in the kitting section. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. This was a kit. I'm going to grab my packaging here. This was a kit that is put together from Paper Roses. It's called the 6x8 Quick Cards Kit. It's the Jolly Holidays. It comes with the 4 die cuts. Now, if you have a look at those, as I mentioned, there is only one flower. There is only one Santa. There is only one elf. So I am going to kind of be winging it when it comes to the decorating part to kind of walk you through it because I've used a lot of those and there was only one of each. Now you also had 3 of all the papers. So that is a bonus. You're going to have more than enough for mine and for Courtney. And then you're going to have still a bunch for leftovers. These are double-sided papers. So we are going to be using these today in class. And if you opened up your kit, you also saw that it had an inspiration sheet. Now, this is just inspiration. It is not at all what you have to do. And that is where you're going to see that I did not do anything on here. I didn't even really worry about the inspiration because I figure with your leftovers, you could make some of these. So kept it nice and simple. We're not going to be needing this inspiration sheet because mine, as you can tell, look nothing like it. So let's get started. Hopefully you all saw where the homework was. We're going to, I think we'll start with this one. And remember, we are going to be doing some die cutting in the class. So you're going to want to have your dies ready as well as your machine. You can go back and watch this at any time. Once the video is over, it is on our Facebook page forever. So if you want to do these cards, you know, tonight, tomorrow, next week, you absolutely can come back and do that at any time. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with that one. I asked you to have an A2 card. So that is our normal card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I do need to crease mine. And this card is going to open up with the fold at the top. Okay, so just like that is going to be a horizontal card, fold at the top. Now I also had you grab a red foil, and I said that this red foil, this was all in the supplies. This red foil should be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That was all listed in the homework part. So that is this one. Now, before we attach it, as you can see, when I hold it up to my card, it's going to fit perfectly. But before we attach it, we are going to do a die cut. That is a great way to use some of our paper. And I'm going to use the lacy one. Now, if you don't have the lacy one, go ahead and find maybe a scallop one, or you could just have a plain circle, but you want it to be slightly bigger. Let's bring in good old Saint Nick here. You want it to be so that that die cut is going to fit on top. Now, for this card, I use the penguin, but I don't have another penguin. You guys will use the penguin. I'll probably use Santa this time. But you want that circle to be something that will work with your die cut circle. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this off and work with that. There's lots of different circles that you can use. I just happened to grab this one, so it's the one we're gonna use. So before I glue this down, I'm going to cut from the middle. Okay, so I've got my machine off to the side here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut. You guys can go ahead and do yours. Okay. We'll remove that. And you can do all of your cards with the same size if that's what you want. That's totally fine. These little half circles are just going to pop out. That's why this one is called a lacy circle. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, it was one that Spellbinders discontinued back, I want to say it was around 2012, maybe 2011. And I had them bring them back at the beginning of the year. So that is what it's going to look like. It's a good one. Now, a little word, they did not bring this back for everybody. They didn't bring it back for all of the stores at all. It was just for Clipper Street. And of course, we shared with Courtney. But you can't just buy this anywhere. And when it's gone, it is gone because we only did one batch of it. Also comes in squares. So they're just a fun one. Now, I'm going to put this off to the side. I'm going to put my die set off to the side as well. And now I can go ahead and glue that on. So that's just a good use of that space. Nobody's going to see that space. And it makes it so that that circle is free. That's how I always look at it. Make your dies make you money. That's what I say. Make them pay for themselves. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on. This was red was already cut as your homework. And then we just cut out the circle. We're going to cover that in a minute. So I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm also going to put this off to the side so I can write. Now there's a paper I want you to find, and that is this paper right here. It is the Bell paper, and the back side is a wood. Okay, it's got a wood grain to it. This is the one that we're going to use. It's almost like a green wood grain. Front has the bell. You're going to have 3 sheets of these, okay? So what I did when I started is I took my paper pad and I just split it all into 3 piles. So each pile had 1 of each. And so this is the one that we are going to use. And these papers are 6 by 8. So we are just going to literally cut it in half. Now, if you want to save a certain part at the back, you absolutely can. It doesn't matter to me which side you cut from, because we're going to be, you're still going to have sheets. We're not using either of these. So if you want to keep your cardinals, then you can cut from your bell side. If you want to keep your bell, you could cut from your cardinal side. It doesn't matter to me at all. So we're going to take it and we're going to take it to 4 inches, which means we're cutting it in half at 4 inches. And this little bit can go off to the side. This is just going to be scraps for you for another day. And so that is 4 inches. And then we're going to trim the length of it to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. And so what that should do is get glued onto our red foil with a little border all the way around. Okay, so 4 by 5 1/4. Double check, make sure all your measurements look right. You've got that little red foil, and then we're going to glue it on. Okay, green side up. This is just going to kind of act as a little photo mat or a little card mat. So we want it to be the solid green wood on the front. Just like that. Paper Rose does these card kits quite often. So I think once you see how easy it is to change things up, and you get a lot of cards out of them because you get 3 of each paper. So you can really make a lot. All right, so I'm going to leave that like that, and I am going to grab the next paper I want you to find. Thank you, Rosie. So on the back, we've got this diagonal, and on the front, this paper is just so beautiful. We've got the poinsettia with this kind of red plaid pattern there. Isn't that beautiful? Ooh. So I'm going to leave that for you to find. That's going to be the next one. And we are going to do this like that. All right. They are stunning papers. And I really feel like the vibrancy of these are just stunning, right? So this is the next paper I want you to find. Everybody hopefully has got that. You're going to have 3 of these as well. And we're going to make our first cut, which is going to be 3 3/4. So with the plaid running horizontal, we're going to take it over to 3 3/4 and cut. 3 3/4. This is going to give us a wider border. Some of you might be like, oh my gosh, Deanna never does wide borders. But for this one, we are going to do a little bit wider. This is going to be leftover. Don't need it. And then we need to trim this to 5. So right now it's currently 6. I am going to take it off of the side that has more of the poinsettia, because if I take it off of this side, well, that's the whole inch, so that's not going to work. So we're just going to take it over to 5 inches and cut off just some of the poinsettia pattern like that. So 3 3/4 by 5. 3 3/4 by 5. All right. So I'm just going to recap while everybody's getting caught up to make sure we're all on the same page here. We've taken the red foil that was part of your supply list. We've cut a circle, whichever circle that may be. I'm going to use different circles, but we've taken the circle and we've cut the circle out and then glued it to our card. We found the paper that is the bell paper with the green. We cut that to 4 by 5 1/4 and glued that on. And then we found this poinsettia paper, which on the back is the diagonal. And we've trimmed that to 3 3/4 by 5. Now this next step is totally optional, okay? You don't have to do it. I'm just going to do it because I want to show you different ways to use some of this fun new ribbon. This ribbon is from Europe, and it is called the circle clay. That's what they call it. You can take your scissors and, do that, and it'll curl as well. And I just cut I don't know, I don't even know, a couple feet maybe, but we don't need that much. I just cut some off of a roll, but they do come by the roll. And they come in different colors. So you can now get this in red, which would, I think, look beautiful. You can get this in gold, which would look pretty with that as well. You can get it in teal, white, and black. Now, what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier is I'm going to take some of my really thin double-sided tape, and I am going to run that along this black line. Now, this is optional, so if you're not doing this, you can just hang tight. Or you can always do it with different ribbon, for sure. Okay, so I am going to run it along that black line just like this, and I'm going to take it to the back. Okay, I want enough on the back there. And then I'm going to repeat it for this black line. So the 2 black lines on either side of that gingham, that red plaid. Okay. And you want this to be fairly thin, just because, I'm a little crooked there, you don't want to, see it sticking out and getting stuck to other parts of your card, your envelope. All right, so all I did is I took the tape and I just wrapped it around on both sides. Now you could use glue, it's a little bit messier, so this is why I like to use that double-sided tape. Now I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this that are longer than the 3 3/4, so it wraps around the back. So what we're going to be doing with this is taking this and we're going to put it on top and we're going to wrap it around to the back. So I need a piece longer. Let's see, I didn't bring my good scissors, so we'll just use these yucky scissors. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces of that. No fancy measurement. I have no idea if mine are even the same. It'd be a miracle if they were. Nope. Doesn't matter. If we have excess, it's okay. Now, if you have this ribbon and you are playing along, there is a good side and a bad side. So you want to make sure that the good side is face up. And as I mentioned, you could do this with any of the ribbons. There's lots of options. And I'm going to peel off one at a time. I'm going to take that backing all the way off because I know it's not going to stick totally down. And I'm going to put this right on top and wrap it around. And if you want to cut some of it off, you can. You don't have to have that much back there. I'm going to be putting foam tape on this, so I'm not too stressed about it. Okay, and I'm just going to cover that black line. It just kind of makes it a little bit more jazzy, right? It kind of makes it look a little bit more sparkly, which, I don't know, I think Christmas is all about sparkle. So I think we can, this doesn't want to let go here. Maybe I'll try this side. There we go. Sometimes one side just not happy. And then we're going to take this one, put it right on top of that dark line. Again, you could do this with the gold. You can do this with the red. The red just came in to stock. We haven't had the red before. All different colors. Okay. Yep, silver glitter on tape would look great. You could absolutely do that. Lots of options. Okay, so once I've got that done, see how much prettier? I think, that's just me, but see how it just jazzes it up. Once we've got that done, we are going to flip it over and put some foam tape on the back. We are going to be foam taping this all up. So I'm going to put a strip of foam tape, and I'm making sure that that foam tape goes over top. I need more foam tape. Oh my gosh, look at that. Just finished a foam tape. Okay, we might have to use my squares. That's fine. So we're going to put foam tape over. That's going to help hold all of that ribbon in place. And when we attach it, I want the plaid pattern to be on the right side. It's going to give us a little bit bigger border all the way around. And then we're just going to attach it like so. Good morning. Just like so. Okay, now comes the time to decorate. So, as I mentioned, you have 4 die cut sheets that were included in your kit. One of them is, I would say, all the icons. So that has flowers and presents and candles. The other 3 are circles and all the words. So you can see you have a lot of options, and they're all interchangeable. So don't stress which one you get. It is your preference. For this one, I use the cute little penguin, which I adore him. But I don't have any more penguins. That's the only penguin I have. You know what? I think I'm going to change mine, though. I think I'm going to use the polar bear. Maybe I'll save Santa for another one. I'm going to use the polar bear for mine. But I encourage you to use the penguin if you like him. If you don't, that's okay. All right, and I'm going to foam tape him to that lacy circle. So I'm just going to put a few foam squares because, well, I just ran out of my foam tape. So we will work with that. That's totally. So whichever one that you chose, we're going to put him on there. All the circles are the same size, so it doesn't matter. We're going to do it like that. All right, so that is foam taped. Then we're going to foam tape it onto our card. Now, the reason I'm going to foam tape it is because I want to see that shadowing through the scallops. If I do it flat, I'm not going to get that shadowing. If I pop it up a little bit, I will. So I'm going to go ahead and put another bunch of pop foam dots, foam squares on here. Like that. And I'm going to put it onto the left-hand side. That's what it's going to kind of look like. We're setting it off to the left. We've come in a little, kind of even top to bottom, fairly even. And now you can see that shadowing that happens with that scallop. Just really pops it, looks really pretty. All right, I'm going to give you a minute to get that on. And then I'm going to, as you can see, I have used a lot of die cuts, and I made a little mark. I know that Courtney is using those 3 on her cards, so I made a little mark not to use those. So I would suggest you find your presents, and this is where I have to pretend because I don't have any more. You're going to find your little presents, and you're going to put a pop dot behind your presents and just go ahead and attach them in the bottom left of your circle. We're going to say like right around 7 o'clock. Go ahead and attach that there. And I just put one pop dot behind there. It is attached to the circle. So you'll have that on your sheet. And I know when we brought you this Crafty Hour, we also had extra die cuts. I know they're all sold out now. Otherwise, I would have grabbed one. So some of you may have extras as well. All right. Now you're going to choose a greeting. I chose the one that says celebrate the season. I think for this one, maybe I'll use 'tis the season. But the celebrate the season is the one that I originally used. This one's a tad bit smaller. And I'm going to put that in the opposite corner, up in the top right of my circle. Let's say right around 2 o'clock. Now, I chose to have it popped up, so I had to do a little bit of math. Right now, this is double. So if I put, and maybe I'll use my little ones. If I put 1 on the left-hand side, that means I'm going to need 3 on the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. You can just do that flat if you want. I did want mine to overlap my circle. You don't have to. You can do yours anyway. Just doing a little bit of math there. So I know that that should be fairly even now when I put it on. And I'm just going to put it right like, oh, how about I take the backing off so it sticks. That's always a good one. Oh, that's perfect. Right like that. Let's make sure I'm straight. Yep, there we go. And guess what? Your card is done. That's how easy these cards are. This is what yours should look like. You're going to have the little presents. As I mentioned, I don't have any more presents. I'm going to have to see if I can get some more. But that is what we've got. That is card number 1. So I feel like the paper does a lot of the work for us with these. They've done a lot of the layering. So again, if you want to just go ahead and glue it on, it's super easy to do. But if you want to take it up a notch, we're going to do that as well. All right, how'd we do? Everybody okay? Yes, thumbs up. All right, because the next one, we're going to take it up. Like I mentioned, we're going to get a little bit more tricky with it. So I'm going to put those off to the side. And I think we're going to do this one. Sure, why not? Let's do our big square one. Okay. I'm going to put this one off. I'm going to use this paper here. Okay, so for this one, I did tell you to grab a card base. Let's bring these in here. I told you to grab a big card base. Let's see, this base is a 5.5 inch. And then I said a piece of red foil that would be 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. I think I also told you to bring a strip of foil. I don't know where my strip is. Maybe that's it. Yep, that will be it. Okay, we'll get to the pattern in a minute. We've got some die cutting to do. So let's move on to this one. So this is our square card. And again, a square card, we can have it open with the top or we can have it open to the side. It really is your choice. Doesn't matter to me which way you do it. But before we go ahead and attach it, we are actually going to die cut out of the center of this one and out of the center of another one. Now, as I mentioned, I chose to use the scallop stitched. You can just use the plain scallop if you want. This is the Clipper Street set. We also have the tonic set that is totally available as well. And there is also the squares. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, my squares I left because I am die cutting right now for our next class. So silly me didn't bring that in. But you should have, let's see, where's my ruler? Okay, there it is. you should, nope, that's not my ruler. You should have a die that measures about 3 3/4 square. Now, if you have that square one, go ahead and cut it out of here. Okay, so go die cut. I'm going to give you a moment. We're going to cut the circle out of the other red one. Being that I did not bring mine, I'm just wondering if I could run to the back and grab one, but I think that'll take too long. Hey, can you grab me? I just said maybe I should go grab one. Can you grab me on the cart the scallop squares?
On the cart behind you?
Yeah, on the bottom, scallop squares. Okay, so you have 2 jobs. First job is you're going to cut out a scallop square. Now, if you are not die cutting, and that's totally okay, you don't have to, you can cut a red square that's 3 3/4 square. That is out of red foil. Okay, so you can just cut a plain old square. It's all good. I just love my die cuts. So that is your first job. And then I did ask you for the last card, I said to grab another A2. And this one we're going to do out of the circle. Okay, so waste not, want not. Is that how they say it? That's the circle. Circle that's going to fit right on there, see? That is going to get cut out of this one. So you should be die cutting 2 things. Excellent. This is the one I'm going to use. I need another set anyway. Okay, so 3 3/4. Let's find which one that is. That is the second one. Okay, I'm going to die cut that out of my square. And I'm going to cut the circle out of my next card piece. Have I lost anybody yet? Is everybody okay? I'll show you these. If you are not die cutting, you can just do a square. So that is the first one. Let's put that there. And then out of mine, I am going to cut a circle. All right. So let's talk about what we've got. The square goes with this card, and we've got our square cut out. Now you can absolutely just cut this into a 3 3/4 square if you want, or you can die cut it. We're going to use that. This is for the next card. This was the other piece I had you do as your supplies, and I just did a circle out of that one. Any questions about what I've die cut? That's all the die cutting we're going to do. So if you do have any questions, please just ask me now before I start gluing. And then we are going to not need our die cut machine anymore. Okay, looks like we're okay. So this rectangle that we had, we don't need that right now. We're going to put it off to the side. I'm going to put those 2 off to the side. And let's go back to starting to build our card with glue. That, ooh, that's a lot of glue. We're going to glue that red on right now. Okay. Perfect. Set that off to the side. So again, you can see how I like to cut out those centers, and it just really gives us a lot more use of our paper. And then let's grab our next paper for this one, which is going to be this plaid. Now, if you look at the front, again, it's really pretty. It's got the wreath. It's got some green dots. You can use this for a card. Super simple. We are going to use the back side. We're going to use it. Not yet, Sharon. Not yet. No, unfortunately not. I'm still playing around with some different options. Okay. Now, if it matters to you, because we're going to be using the back side, if you're like, ooh, I want to save something, You can worry about that. I am not going to worry about that because I know I have 3 sheets of this. So it really doesn't matter to me. And I'm going to cut a square that's 5 1/4. Okay, so we're going to put it in. I'm going to cut 5 1/4. Make it a square. 5 1/4. Okay, so go ahead and cut your plaid 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, keeping an eye on the time there. Perfect. It fits onto our card. Got a little border of that red foil. Go ahead and glue that onto your card. Attach it. All right. And then we'll set that aside because we are going to cut another piece of paper. There we go. The next paper I want you to find is this one. So after you've glued it and you've done it all up, go ahead and find this one next. I love this image of Santa. He's a fantastic Santa. Fantastic. So this is the one. The back side is kind of like a red barn wood. Now for this one, we are actually going to cut right here. We're going to take this strip off. So we're going to cut on the outside of that red line. I'm going to turn mine upside down just because I think it'll be a little easier to do. No measurement. I'm just cutting right on that red line. Just like that. And then I'll slide it over and I'll do the same thing right on that red line. Just like that. So that's going to give me this image. Something I want to do with my leftover is do a gatefold card so that when I open, this is going to be inside my card. So have a gatefold and then have it open with Santa here and put some greetings. So that is something you could do leftover with this piece of paper. I think it's really cute. Yours should now look like that. Okay, we've cut off all the patterns on either side. We've got the red line on either side. Everybody should have that. Now it's 6 inches tall, so we're going to trim it back to that 5 1/4. Doesn't matter to me whether you take from the top or the bottom. It really is not going to make a difference. It's a very random pattern. Oh yeah, I think it's a good Santa. I remember those, Sharon. All right, so 5 1/4. Now this is going to be, as you can see, the same size, same height. Now I'm going to attach mine onto that red foil that I had you bring. Mine's a little bit wide. We need this to be about 2, maybe 2 1/4-ish. I'm going to write that down. That red foil should be about 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. Mine's a little bit wide. Let me make sure mine's. And let's make sure it's 5 1/4. I just grabbed a scrap that was sitting on my table and prayed for the best. There we go. We just want to see a little bit of red foil on either side. Not on the top and the bottom, but on the long sides. So once you've got that red foil perfectly trimmed, and yours might already be, let's go ahead and glue that on top. Okay. Everybody doing okay? This card probably is the one that has the most work, but I do want to get through all 3 cards. 3 cards in 1 hour. Whew. Okay, and now we're going to put foam tape on it. and we're going to foam tape it to the left side. I'm going to say we're going to come about 1/2 inch in. So go ahead and attach. Now this is where you want to decide which way you want your card to open. Okay, make sure it's positioned right. And well, you'll be quicker than me because I don't have my roll of foam tape. I have to put these little dots on. So you're probably already done if you're using proper foam. All right. So we're going to say about 1/2 inch from the edge. Just like that. We're going to cut one more piece of paper for this. Okay. And that's going to be from our leftover scraps. So I guess it didn't matter which side you saved because we're going to use this leftover green. This one we cut in card number 1. So you just cut this. Hopefully you haven't lost it yet. Of course, if you're like me, your desk is already a mess. We're going to cut a piece of this to fit inside your square. Now, if you just did a red plain square, then it's just going to be slightly smaller than 3 3/4. For mine, I am going to cut it about 3 5/8. Have a look at yours because it will depend if you are using the stitched or not. Okay, so mine is 3 5/8, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'll show you 3 5/8 is right in between 3 1/2 and 3 3/4. If you want, and you're using a different square, which is totally, you could even use the, where did my die set go? You could even use the lacy square. I just want you to measure yours because it might be slightly different. I don't know if this paper was meant to all be cut apart, but I like it. Okay, so for me, that works. I want you to be mindful of what square you have. And we're going to glue it on here once you've got it perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue mine because it is okay. And then we will attach it. Now this one has a lot of die cuts that we're going to work in. It's super cute. Okay, so it looks just like so. Now when we go to attach it, we're going to put this one on a diagonal, top and bottom. Within the card, it should just fit in the card. It's going to touch all 4 edges. And I'm only going to put foam tape on the right side. On the left side, where it hits the pattern paper, I am not going to put any adhesive, or just no foam tape. I'm just going to put adhesive on there. So I'm going to hold it like this so that I know where to put the foam tape. Okay, and as I mentioned, I just finished my roll, so I'm going to use pop dots, but I encourage you to use your roll. It'll be a lot easier. And then I'm going to put some liquid glue on my left side. That's just going to make a lot more sense. Not too big on that side. So I'm just going to put some glue there. So that's what mine is going to look like. I'm going to have glue on the left, foam tape on the right. Now I'm going to flip it. And it's kind of nice when you have this diagonal pattern back there because it kind of helps you get straight. Right, so just really nice and easy. We now have 3 patterns on there. That's all we're going to do for patterns. We're now just going to start decorating. Okay, everybody good? I'm going to bring in that circle. And now I am going to decide which circle I want. And as I mentioned, I am starting to run low. Maybe we'll do the fireplace on this one. I used the house. So if you want to use your house so yours looks like mine, go ahead and grab that house. I think I will do the stocking, the fireplace, but I encourage you to use the house because I know that that one is okay. And this time I'm going to glue it flat to my circle. So no foam tape right now. We're just going to glue that flat. You got a lot of circles to choose from. I know Courtney's going to be using some of them, so that's why I made sure not to use those. But they are interchangeable. Sounds like we just got a delivery. Okay, so it's just like that. And I just find that those circle dies, they just really will pop. If you don't have a circle die, you don't have to do it, but you can really see the difference of how they pop. Now we're going to foam tape that to the center of our square, but I am going to be putting some goodies over here on the right. So I'm not going to put the foam tape right to the very edge. I'm going to kind of bring it in just a little bit so I can do a little bit of stuffing. That is totally workable. I think that's probably good. I'm usually an over foamer. Is that such a thing? Like an overachiever with foam. That's me. Okay, and we're just going to put that right in the middle. Love it. Okay, and now we are going to pretend. Let's see if I can pull this up. One sec, you know, I didn't do a lot of adhesive on it, so it's very possible we can. I want you to go to your Icon die cut sheet. Yeah, we can pull that up. Icon die cut sheet. And I want you to find this wreath. I'm going to put my wreath back together. It's a little bit torn, but that's okay. Go ahead and pop out the wreath. And we're going to cut the wreath roughly in half. I'll leave this here so you can see where mine is. I want you to cut it roughly in half. I am going to start with this side that has the pine cones, and I am going to attach it underneath just like so. And I'm just going to do that. Did I do it flat? I think I did it flat. Yep. Just put a little bit of glue and we're just going to attach it underneath. Let me put some glue on the back here. No foam tape. A little bit of glue. And I'm going to plunk it like so. Okay. It's underneath the square. It's flat and I just slid it under there a little bit. If you need to trim it because it's not sliding under, you can. Then we're going to take the poinsettia one, the half that has the poinsettia. We're going to put some glue on that one. So we've just cut this die cut in half. That's just stretching it a little bit. It's just giving me a little bit more oomph. And we're going to attach it like so. Right. Now, once we've got the florals done here, I want you to go ahead and find your little gnome die cut. And we're just going to put some foam tape on him, and we're going to put the gnome on the far left side of that circle. It's kind of half on and half off. Just a little bit of foam tape. I didn't bother putting extra under here. He's on there good. Right? This is where you guys get to work and I get to pretend. You're going to find one of your words, whichever words you want. I used for this one Christmas wishes. Maybe on this other one, I am going to use Merry Christmas to You. Does that green? Let's see if that green works. Maybe Happy Holidays. There's so many words on here. Yeah, I like the Happy Holidays for mine. This one I did Christmas Wishes. And I'm going to put a little foam tape on that. And I'm going to put that just sticking on the bottom. I think my fireplace is crooked. Ooh, can't have that. Okay, so on this one, I put the Christmas wishes. You've already done the little gnome. Now we've got the Christmas wishes. And the last thing I'm going to do is take the die cut that has the cocoa and cookies. And I'm going to put some foam tape on that. And I'm just going to put it like so. I don't know if I have enough sticky to my foam tape. Just covering up the bottom of those branches, and see how I tucked it slightly under. So if you need more foam tape, just go ahead and attach that. Sorry, it's really hard without having another set of die cuts. So I hope that that's pretty straightforward. Did you pop up the house on the red? I did not. I glued it flat. This one I glued flat. I popped up the circle once it was attached to the red foil. All right, so that card is done. We now have 2 cards. We have one more card to do. Let's see, I got about 12 minutes. So let's see if I can finish that last one in about 12 minutes. All right, so we've got this one and this one. We've now created 2. And remember, you still will have this whole inspiration sheet. There's a lot there. All right, let's do this last one. All right, because I do want to get it done. And if you want to just sit back and watch, of course you can. Where do I find your homework? It is underneath the comments. So when there is an event and I share that event on Clipper Street page and I say, here's your event. If you look at the comments, and sometimes you have to click on to read the comments, that is where you're going to find the homework. Unfortunately, when we create an event, we can't add pictures to that event. We have to do it in the comments. So always, always, always look there. That is where I will always post mine. There's always something you have to do. It may be not necessarily homework, but supplies. That is always possible. And I like to post mine the Sunday before. That way it's always front and center. You don't forget about it. So I usually, I would say 99% of the time you will find that posted sometime on the Sunday before the event. So you can always put a little reminder in your phone as well. Okay, so for this one, I told you, grab your A2 card. We've got that. And I also said the red foil, which we have already cut a circle out of it. It's there, Sandy. I have found it. It is definitely, definitely there. I know that for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue that together. Courtney's saying that she always posts hers in the discussion section of the event as well. Yep, it's always there. It's just that we want to set up an event, but we can't show you more pictures in the event. So oftentimes I will reshare it and say, see the comments. Now, if you don't click on the comments, you might not see them, right? So you have to click on it, but it'll always be there. Even if I just say, don't do anything, I'll always post something. Always, always. This is now what? This is Crafty Hour number 51. So that's usually where you will find that. It just makes it a little bit easier to keep it all in one place. Okay, let's go to, I'm gonna bring this back in because I wanna find our next papers. We're going to do some of our scraps. You think I can find my scraps? Of course not. There we go. So I want you to find this scrap. We have this one. And this is going to be the first one that we are going to do. It's also right on our page, guys. I can't show you because, well, like I can't, but if you go to our Clipper Street page, you find the event, you go into the comments, that's where you'll find it. Okay, let's focus on this. I wish I could like bring in my computer. Maybe I could, but I don't have it in front of me. First thing we're going to do with this paper is we're going to trim the length of it to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. If someone comes into the classroom here, I'll ask them to go grab my computer. So 5 1/4. 5 1/4. That's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to cut the length of it to 5 1/4. Now we're going to turn it tall, and we're going to cut it to 2 1/4. 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to glue that to the bottom, just like so. I want to have red foil on either side and the same amount on the bottom. So let's go ahead and glue that together. While we're gluing, I'm going to keep going because I don't want to take too much of your time today. But I do want to mention that tomorrow we have an incredible crafty hour coming. It is limited because we are including a die set that you can only buy that way. We have never sold this die set before. And you're going to get it in your kit, but therefore it is limited. So you guys are getting notice that you need to make sure to join that right away. Well, I'm talking, have a look and find this paper with the houses. So we usually try and open up ours before I go live. So probably around 8:45, I program it to go live. So I know when I get into class that it is live. So if you go ahead and if you know you want it, don't wait till lunchtime. Last time a lot of people missed out on this one. They missed out on our last one. Then they got upset, but you know what? It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So of course we're sold out by then. That's what we want to do. Okay, so for this one, we are going to cut a couple of pieces of paper. So I hope you found this one. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the edge here. I am going to cut in between these little houses. I'm going to take off that half a house. Okay, and again, I'm going to just start motoring here so we get this done. But I'm going to cut off so that I have this nice spot right here with the house. Does everybody see that? Just get rid of that half house. Then I'm going to turn it upside down and I'm going to cut it to 5 1/4. Don't worry that we're cutting that house. It's okay. Trust me. 5 1/4. All right, now what we're going to do is two things. First thing, I'm going to cut just the houses out. I kept the green on the bottom, so have a look. I'm going to cut off that, and I'm going to keep the green on the bottom. Up to you if you want to keep the green on the top. I did not. I did not. So that's what mine looks like. I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so I have full houses over here. This one's a little cut. That's okay. Kept the green on the bottom, no green on top. Put this off to the side. And then here, I'm going to do 2 1/4 again. 2 1/4. So we've cut that paper up. If you've missed that, you can go back and watch on replay. I'm just going to keep on going. This piece we're going to glue to the top, slightly overlapping our plaid. So let's glue that one on. Definitely don't want to go over in time, but I might. All right, this one goes up top, like so. Now, I don't like a seam, so we're going to take these houses, and I told you to have that red foil ready. and we're going to attach our houses onto the red foil. So I see red foil at the top, red foil at the bottom. I need to smidge mine just a little. Attach those. That's it for cutting paper. Not doing any more paper cutting. So go ahead. Can you do me a favor?
Of course.
Can you find my laptop?
Yep. Is it on your desk?
I hope it's on my desk.
Okay.
It should be on my desk.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's in here. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to foam tape this across the seam. So again, you guys will be a lot quicker than me because I have to use my little squares. I think I used too much foam tape this weekend. I was working on our 3D classes. And well, we all know that we use a lot of foam tape on those 3D classes. A lot. Now, if you want to offset this slightly, feel free to. I often think you...
it was in your bag, but I promise that's all I took, and it is very cold.
Yeah, it's cold in the warehouse. 'Tis the season. I offset mine a little bit, and I put the plaid a little bit further down on the bottom, so I see a little bit more floral on the top. That's just a preference. You certainly don't have to. Now choose yours, and I'm going to tell you what I did for this one, because it's really kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. Let's see if I can pull it up here. The circle I took, oh boy, that foam tape sticks really well. Okay, hold on, because you guys got to see what I did here. You're going to take the circle that is this house with the big bow. Ignore this foam tape. You're going to turn it upside down. I know, it's crazy. Upside down. And glue that circle upside down to the houses. So if this was my house with the wreath, which it's not, but if it was, you're going to turn it upside down and you're going to attach it like that. Only glue it to the center. Upside down. I know you're going to think I'm crazy. Once you've got that one upside down, I want you to find the Santa die cut, which is on your element sheet. We're going to put some foam tape on it. I'm just going to add glue because, well, mine already has that foam tape I just ripped off. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have put it together, right? Put foam tape on the back of Mr. Claus, and we're going to put him over top of the house that is upside down. Now what that's doing is it's giving us this greenery on both sides of Santa, and that's really what I wanted. So it's okay to use die cuts in a whole different way than what they were meant to be. We have to think outside the box. Okay. Then we're going to find, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to find a greeting, Merry Christmas in this case. And we're going to put some foam tape. I'm just getting this residue off. I use black. Good gracious. I'm going to put some foam tape on the bottom. And I'm going to overlap Mr. Claus like so. Now you've got this cute little elf. We're going to call him an elf. We're going to put foam tape on him, and we're going to put him on the side. We're also going to foam tape our deer. And then what I want to show you what I did up here, this die cut, was the bell. And I cut the bell in half. I found there wasn't enough greenery. You guys all know how much I love the stuffing the greenery. And I know that Courtney used the greenery that was on here, the flower, the tree. So I needed to get a little creative. So I took the bell and I cut it in half, put some foam tape on it, and I'm going to stuff it so that that's all I see. All right. So that's kind of cute. I think that's kind of cute. And then there's so many of these little words, these little Noel words and jingle words. Choose your favorite. And we're going to glue that one flat. Now, oops, what did I just do? What I'm going to do, while you guys are playing with those die cuts, give me a second here to flip over to Clipper Street. Just give me 1 sec. I have so many different things here up on my screen. La, la, la. Oh my gosh, down, down, down. Okay, perfect. So, I'm going to also show you how you find the homework. Let's just do that now while we're all here. But before I do, I just want to make sure everybody's got those die cuts. So I'm just going to recap the die cuts one more time. We've got the house that I turned upside down, so I just have that greenery. I have foam taped the Santa die cut over top of the house. I have foam taped a greeting on the bottom. I have foam taped the elf to the side. And this deer, he's going to need double foam tape under his feet, right? So that he's nice and flush. You don't want him falling over. We've got this here, that half a bell stuck behind, and then the Noel. Now your house, see here how I didn't pay attention to that detail before? So when I had you redo it, you should now see a full house over there. Full house, haha. Okay, let me show you where you find homework. So when you go to our page, for instance, here's our page, okay? And when you scroll down to the event, good morning, here is your Clipper link for Thursday's Crafty Hour. Please see comments for supplies needed prior to class. So if you go down and if you don't see all the comments, see right here where it says view more comments, right there? If you click on that, look at that. That is where you are going to find your supply list. All right. So sometimes I don't make an image like this. Sometimes I just write it down. But if you look at the comments and then here, look at this. I did another comment that said, here's the picture of the ribbon I used. Don't stress if you don't have it. And then I had a picture there. But I have to do it that way because I cannot add it into the event section. So that I find is usually the easiest. You might not see those comments unless you click on those comments. Otherwise you might not see, but see all those comments there. So does that help at all? Sometimes you have to open up the comments. Now here is the actual event. And if I go into the event, let's see if I can go into the event. Under event, you can also go to discussion. And under discussion, you can, oh, look at that. There we are. You can also sometimes find it there. But I just find that going into this makes it a little bit easier. Wherever the heck it went now. Back down. Got to find the event. Click on comments. Does that help, Sandy? Sharon, does that help? We don't put the events in, well, we do. The Crafty Hour is in the group, but we don't do the class in the group because we want this to be available to everybody. So if we do the class in the group, then that's why we don't do it. Okay, any questions? Let me know, talk to me. Let's bring in these requests, these cards again. We've got the 3 cards, completely different than your inspiration. So you also can make these. Excellent. I'm glad that helped. You guys got to let me know when you need that kind of help. You know, I am a big believer. The girls here probably hate it, but I'm a big believer that I can do it for you. But if I teach you to fish in the long run, it is much, much better. So I always would rather you guys learn than me just do it for you, right? That's always, and we get a lot of questions about that. I know Joe was saying, quite often Monday mornings, people will call and say, where do I find the homework? So it's good that we have this little discussion. I think it's great that we do that. So you've got your cards. You've got a lot of product left over. Courtney has 3 cards for you at 5 p.m. That's going to be on her page, Scrapbook and Memories. If you are interested in any of the dies, feel free to reach out and call us. We will offer you that 10% discount on the ones I used today. That is the lacy circles and the tonic scallop squares and tonic scallop circles. You're guilty of it too, Julie. There's a few of you, so don't worry. It's not just you. You're in good company. But again, if we can teach you guys how to do it, that's going to take a lot less stress off of you guys for sure. I hope you liked my cards. They were totally different than your inspiration. I have to tell you, the one we're going live with tomorrow is insane. So please don't wait. A little hint, I usually open it up about 15 minutes before to make sure that the links work, because Courtney hops on and fills those links in for me, and I wanted to make sure that they work for her. So don't wait until noon. I guarantee it's going to be sold out. We did order extras. The die alone is probably worth about $70, $80. Like, it's insane the amount of stuff you have in that kit. And it is a little bit more wintry. It can be Christmas, but it's a little bit more wintry. It's either square, Dawn. I use this one because I didn't have my square, but it's either square. I use both all the time. So it's whichever one. The only difference with the clipper ones is I had them remake them with a stitch because I like the stitch, but we are sold out of those. So this is always a good alternative as well. 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Julie. Yes, that is correct. There is an event set up. So if you go to that event, you click that you are going to that event, you know what happens? You get notification about 10 minutes before. Let me show you what I mean by that. Un momento. Since we got my computer here, let's see. So right here, Crafty Hour number 53, right there. Now you, because this is me, as Clipper Street, you should have something here that says interested. If you click on that, that is going to get you into that into that one. This is called Circle Clay. That is the name of the ribbon. This is the silver. It comes in silver, comes in gold, comes in teal, comes in red, black, and white. We showed the new colors last week. Your original cards are with the Clipper Street ones. Yes. Yes, they are. See, there's the stitch. Ta-da! Yep, and the stitch on that one. Yes, they are. So yeah, we have, I think we still have them in all the colors. I think the red would have looked great, but I was kidding for 3D Christmas and had silver on my counter, and so that's the one I grabbed. All right, guys, I am going to sign off, so don't forget Courtney's live at 5 p.m. Pacific. It will be on her page, Scrapbook and Memories. Thank you for letting me do a little bit of training with you guys on the computer, and we'll see you all back here tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for our live reveal.